There we go. Hey, indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Indeed, it is a blessing having you here again for another conscious evolution. Another opportunity for us to change our patterns. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of a pattern shift. Input the unexpected. You know what I mean? I have been present. I want to say forcibly so, but it's not technically forcibly so. I forced myself to be present. Technically, we can say that wouldn't be inaccurate. And in that forced presence, I find myself so at peace and just happy to be. And it's so curious how, as soon as I go back to sleep and found myself awake again, and found within my present experience things that I might have wanted differently, I find myself noticing patterns arising. Patterns that do not serve me. Patterns that make it clear to me that I am very capable of finding fault in myself and in my experience as it is. Yes, all of this great stuff, but this one bad thing. This one bad thing. This one mistake you made. You should feel bad about it. And then I'm like, but I've made the mistake. Oh, I say to myself, I've made the mistake. There's nothing I can do about it now. I can just not make mistakes going forward. And then, this is the part that's hard. There's something in me that says you're gonna make more mistakes probably, bro. And I wanna break that pattern too. Yes, I do. I don't wanna make mistakes. But you cannot grow if you don't make mistakes. You cannot win if you don't push yourself. There are no odds if there is no risk. You know? And it is this weird dichotomy of trying to find ourselves balanced somewhere in the middle. Ekaterina. Ekatariranas. Ekaterinis. Is me being the only one in chat one of them? No, not at all. Like, usually, especially on Sundays, people stay up late on their Saturday nights, and then it takes them a while to wake up, you know? Most of my viewers are American, so it's nice to have this quiet space before they start waking up. Good to know I'm no longer banned. I don't think you were ever banned. Pretty sure. You might have been muted when you spammed in chat a lot by one of the moderators. That I won't be surprised by. But yeah, some presents. Some presents was had. Breaking of my patterns. There was something that I was going. I was gonna say something, I'm sure of it. I'm just seeing there's a dog next to me. Eating grass. What a familiar pattern. Why are you eating one of the dry bits, bro? Does the dry bits give them the fiber that they need? If I was a dog and I had to eat the grass, I'd eat the soft kind. There's a cow complaining about being stuck. He got himself in a doozy and doesn't know how to get out. It'll be fine. Yeah, trying to change my patterns. Trying to change my patterns. You know, it is this weird balancing act of realizing that the patterns that I've implemented in my life have served me in large parts as well. It's just up to me to now kind of like learn how to be a little bit more compassionate with myself. I really don't like making mistakes. Yes, Pisses me off. My mistakes costing me does not serve me. I don't like it. You can just call me cat. Your grass is green, bro. Not the piece he was eating. Bro. I'm gonna open chat on this device so I don't have to manhandle the slave phone. This thing should make. Oh no! No, it's fine. Crisis averted. I did remember that I ran out of charge yesterday and I thought I forgot to put it on charge. And no, I just forgot to push the button. That happens too sometimes. That cow's losing its mind. It's being so obnoxious. I'm going to do something about it after this time event. Giving him some scritches. Hey Sam. The first step of breaking patterns is noticing them. I'm noticing a pattern in that cow losing its mind. Now, after this dino evap, you know what? I don't even have to go after her. I can just start walking now. Twee voels met één squid mors dood met 'n klip gegooi. Wait a second. No. Wow. Is that bird laughing at me? Don't laugh, don't laugh at me, bird. Don't laugh at me. I think he's losing his mind because I might be getting close to his little burby hole. I can't see any burbies in there. Curious. Is that open enough for you, little Bessie? That's open, right? You can see it's open as. I'm gonna have to mission harder, I think. It's small enough the other cows might not be tempted to go in, but big enough that he would be able to get out. Feels like a fair compromise. Hey, Eevees. Hi, Eevees. Eva has been rolling in the dirt today. Oh, there we go. Better. Cow isn't screaming anymore, but also not technically out of the tangle it was in before. Breaking patterns. Is it possible to break patterns? That's in part what I'm thinking about. I think that within certain patterns of being, there are certain patterns of consequences. You know, if you are in a certain way, you will experience certain things. I try to take a lot of responsibility. And I say I try because I know that I can't take all of the responsibility, but I'll try. I'll try if I can. You know, it is something as simple as cow screams. Like there's a part of me that initially doesn't want to bother, right? And then if the signal keeps being put down like that, eventually I realize that I'm supposed to change the pattern. Dude reads a book and thinks he's a guru. I'm pretty sure I haven't been calling myself a guru, very intentionally. I'm pretty sure I've also said, John, before at least, that I used to. I used to consider myself a guru. When I was younger, I thought I was wiser. And as I gotten older, I realized I know nothing, right? I know nothing at the very least about your life, right? And in that way, anything I can say is going to be subject to your own judgment. But what I have become wise about is that this is my experience, and I get to be the one that articulates it. And if that makes me seem wiser than I am, then so be it. No readers allowed here. Sorry, dude. No, reading is good for you, Cat. Would recommend you spend some time reading things. It helps expand your mind just a little bit. It's like thinking with someone else's brain. But it's very difficult to actually bring that wisdom and experiential growth that you actually go through to someone else. I have read books in the past and then come back to them and then suddenly realized that since I had read that book the first time, so many of the teachings of that book have become implemented in my life. And then I found myself wondering if I did that subconsciously. Was it intentional? Did it just kind of happen that way? Was it going to happen that way regardless? Was it just a matter of time? Or was the deciding factor the fact that I actually did read something? It could help you break patterns, since that is today's stream topic, you know? Reading something could help you break a pattern. Default mode network keeps us stuck in a certain way of thinking. And it's very sorry for itself, I find. Very sorry for itself. Oh, it's so hated, so inconsidered, so stepped on, you know. And it will tell you these stories of like really how bad you have it. Convincing you that you exist. And then it's hard to as well, especially. That's the big thing. I don't think it's easy to exist, full disclosure. Definitely is hard. However, I don't think it's something we're forced to do. I do think we choose to be here. You know, like there's many different philosophies that talk about breaking the pattern of whatever it is this is, that we're in this recursive loop. It just keeps going. I think we choose to keep going. It's true, we do have a lot of momentum behind us. But we know how to stop. I don't know if you've been hearing that little tippy tappies. Maybe a little bit. There's a woodpecker really doing his job. going at it. He can't break his patterns. That's what he needs to do. He picks wood, looking for that bug that's hiding underneath the surface. So much to witness. There are two little burbies. I'll try and show you. Two little burbies right there. Can you see them? And like they've been very close this whole time. Sometimes when they fly up to the tree together. And the one Burby will do these tricks every now and then where he jumps over the other Burby. Wonder if we can catch a moment like that. And then every now and then another Burby will come swooping down from the sky. I don't know if they're attacking, but the left Burby is usually pretty riled up by it. And then after the other Burby has left, he closes his gap with his Burby friend. I'm interested in talking about the further how we choose to survive, but survival is itself an instinct. So are we really choosing? Can we at that point? It's an interesting question you're asking. Suddenly Burby alone. It's an interesting question you're asking, Sam. If you have to think about living only purely as a biological continuation of the self, uh, maybe the question becomes nuanced. Because if I try to starve myself to death, it'll become progressively harder and harder to do so, right? Because I have this instinct to eat something and to continue my existence. However, if I starve my soul of life, it doesn't die, right? In the same way, because it can't. Or at the very least, it doesn't want to. It finds value in the continuation of itself, right? Soul is the ultimate self. And you, as a self, are an extension to that. And that extension to it is like again, a reached out arm. The same way your hand is an extension to the rest of your body, and your body is an extension to your brain. And your brain, if you believe more and more of the modern sciences, is an extension to cosmic consciousness, right? It tunes into cosmic consciousness. It doesn't generate it. Tunes into like a TV channel, right? And there are different channels. There are different frequencies that you can tune yourself into. And then that's the thing that I think doesn't die, Sam. That's the thing that I think continues, chooses to continue. And it's not a instinctual thing. I don't think. I believe it's instinctual, at least. I think it's very much purpose, almost even. Is there a difference? More nuance. Exactly the thoughts I've been testing. Can we really con ourselves out of our survival mechanisms? I don't think we need to. I still feel things. Not always good things. But I actively remind myself that there are still more good things to feel, and there are still more good things to be excited about and happy about, right? And it's not convincing myself to con ourselves, not trying to con myself out of my survival mechanism. It's to con myself into realizing I'm still alive, right? It's like, yes, my survival mechanisms make me A, B, and C, make me insecure sometimes, makes me seek security in shelter, money, food, makes me selfish, we can say, right? However, all of those things don't, at least in my very opinion, make you less than as a human being, right? I just think it makes you a human being. I feel like it's kind of neat that human beings can be so insecure. Maybe neat is not the right word. Insecurity is a very big topic in my life. I can be pretty insecure, and I know all of us can be pretty insecure. And to think about that on a cosmic level, you think birds are insecure? Cows are insecure, dogs are insecure. How is it that we find ourselves insecure about things? All of the majesty that a human being is. Maybe it's because of how great humans can be that we intrinsically compare ourselves to the rest of humanity and find ourselves insecure in comparison. So much mental gymnastics to make ourselves feel bad. And again, I believe that more often than not, that can become a pattern that you are actively doing to yourself. And if other people realize that pattern about you and you don't realize that pattern about you, it's very difficult for them to be close to you because it feels like there's a disconnect. Hmm. We may be on a road that has no turns. Pickard often postulated in an episode of Trek when the crew found themselves caught repeating events. Yeah. I tend to wonder, would we keep our identity if there were turns in the road? Turns in the road, in the way that I understand what Sam is saying, is like dimensional shifts, right? Where no turns in the road are more elliptic curves, right? Like instead of like going from one instance of reality to the other instance of reality, you track a path where you go from one instance of reality to the other instance of reality. You're still getting where you're going, but you're not almost like creating dissonance. You're conserving momentum, even. And we take that thought further. Is my personality the result of my choices or a predetermined formula? It's interesting what your answer to that question would say about you. What I think is that your personality is very much like a lot your own choices. But you do have some biological canvas, right? So imagine your biological canvas, your body and your brain makeup as a canvas. And then all of your choices is essentially the paint you decide to put down throughout your life, right? And the more colorful of choices you make, the more colorful of personality you have, right? If you're only painting with black and white, then you shouldn't be surprised that you're having a hard time creating potential punch, let's say. I like a lot of color. Big old bold colors that absolutely will blast my eyeballs. Is my personality colorful? I sure hope so. I've been trying for that. It does make you question. It's a dichotomy until it isn't. Said X. Said Zackus. Sad sacks. Ah, good day. Good day to you too. A face that only a mother could love, and she does. She does love me. And I love my mom too. She's great. She bakes and she likes dressing nice. It's important to her. Get to tell mom, wow, mom, I like that dress you made. And she gets to be like, wow, I like having a son that has good taste. And then we're like, mom and son being homies, loving each other. Thank you, James, for giving me a moment to honor my mom. DJ JJ, bless ye. Thank you for joining me. It's nice having you here, friend. Today we've been having a discussion, a conversation about breaking patterns. You know, I am very good at breaking patterns, but at the same time, I'm also very good at repeating them. It's this interesting dichotomy, since that's the word that got reintroduced into my vocabulary just recently. There's a difference between the version of me that has to absolutely do something a certain way, and then the version of me that's willing to do other things in between. I sure do hope I have balance. I had a moment with a big fella on Zora just yesterday where he posted a screenshot of his screen time and some absurd number. I think his number was 30 hours, 33 hours or something. 33 hours of his screen time was Zora in the last week. And then I go and check mine. And I go back to his like little comment window. I'm like, dude, why did you make me look? I'm averaging 77 hours of screen time on this device, just on this device. 77 hours of screen time, 44 hours per week of which was Zora for 3 consecutive weeks now. And I was a little bit baffled, to be honest. I was like, oh goodness. And then I'm like typing out the stats, sending it on his like comments section. And he goes, bro, you do your live streams and you make the art. He didn't even, I don't think he knows even about the yoga classes we do before the live streams. And then 44 hours of Zora. He's like, when do you sleep? And like I'm reading this comment and formulating the reply at 3:40 a.m. Literally 3:40 a.m. Like sleeps. Yeah, sleeping. Must be sleeper is good. It's good for him sleepings. What's the difference between science and religion? I'm not really the most qualified person to answer that question, DJJ. But if I had to try, I'd say religion is when a bunch of people come together and agree on what God is. Like there's some sort of unity, consolidation, confirmation in one another that we're believing in the same God. And then they form a religion around that concept. Where science is the empirical proving of truths, right? Like science would be, you know, trying to figure out again gravity, the whole fact that things fall at a certain fixed rate, of a certain fixed mass. And then the fact that if we take away, or yeah, if we take away, all of the air resistance, all masses fall at that fixed rate. And right, like you can prove that. You can build a chamber, you can evacuate all of the air out of it, and you can drop things in that environment. And then upon dropping things in that environment, you can be like, oh yes, truth statement has been proven. That's science, right? And they can coexist, I'll say as well. I just like science a lot, because if you haven't realized, everything, and I mean everything you like, maybe not the actual people, maybe not the actual people, but I think everything else, everything you like, is as a result of science, right? No, Melt, point at anything around you. Maybe you like trees, right? Like, other than the nature stuff, the things that you carry with you on your person, the things that you put in your house itself, right? The car you drive with, the toothbrush you brush your teeth with, everything is a product of science. And, in that way, one is the superior thought form when it comes to trying to solve a problem. And if that problem is something tangible in the real world, science is going to serve you. And religion, in that way, doesn't try and solve the problem of the tangible. Religion tries and solve problems in the spiritual sense. Tries and solve the problem of fear for people. The existential dread of what's going to happen to me when I die. All right. So they serve different functions in our society, and science can't prove true any of the religion stuff. And in that way, science concludes that it must not be of value, right? I find myself a spiritualist, a technomancer spiritualist, very interesting combination of things to be. And in that way, I'll do strange things to myself. I'll bring computer interface and then use it to reach deep states of meditation. Like that's going to be the kind of spectry that I go for. And that is science. It is kind of like a science-based approach. I'm going to have to be experimenting on myself. And, you know, I don't really believe in building a religion around that. We have one rule, right, that we try to follow, and it's love is true. Overcomplicating it for ourselves hasn't worked clearly. So we should just simplify it like a lot. Before you act in a certain way, is love true about this way in which you're acting? Is it true, love? Love true? If no, then reconsider. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Hey, I see Mojo here. Oh, no way. Okay, I'm finally here. Mojo says, you are you for the same reason the earth is the earth, the Milky Way is the Milky Way, and so on. It's a beautiful point, Mojo. I resonate with you, bro. Science seeks to understand how, where religion wants to know why. They both set out to answer totally different questions. I like how me and Sam were aligned on that point. That's so dark. That's so dark. I get where you're coming from, and like I don't know how old you are, DJJ, but I used to say shit like that too, bro. Not exactly that, what you said, but stuff like that, like, and it's fun while it lasts, I'll say. But then you also realize that it doesn't serve you. Not really. It doesn't serve the purpose of trying to convince the people that believe what you believe they shouldn't be believing into not believing it. And it also alienates you from them to the point where you now have effectively made it impossible for you to affect them. Not impossible, but exceedingly difficult for you to affect them. Right? So I find that coming from a place of non judgment, trying to come from a place of non judgment, and instead of casting evaluations, I share observations. And then upon sharing of those observations, I usually share my perspective in how I've observed those patterns in myself as well. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy to say the right thing. But it's better to try than not to. I think, at least. I've been in a state of mild irritation. Remember yesterday when we got mosquito bitten? Yeah. My body is not happy about it. I think when my love handles get mosquito stung, I think because of the fat that I have, like my body doesn't react the same way to it. Like when it's like on like one of these parts of my skin, like here I have like very limited extras, so it doesn't welt. But I feel like with the fat, I don't know if there is like veins close to the skin, or if they try and like look for veins inside of my fat. This is messing with me too. Don't you worry. But my body hates it every single time I get stung on these spots. It becomes very irritated, and then I get very irritated as well. And then I have to keep breaking my patterns, not skizzing myself, stop myself from losing my mind. I have a very dry throat. The wind has been washing past me too. I think today's stream will be a short one. I mean, it's been 37 minutes. 37 minutes is not exactly short, but short by our standards. Yes, yes, indeed. I uploaded a new piece to Zora this morning. This one. Thank you, Sam. Seems like we're definitely reaching a new side of the internet today. So many people out there in the universe. Imagine your political system being messed up, that the people that want to talk about it and bring up the past to cover their present isn't really a big shame for me to be a part of India. It's really a big shame for me. I don't think you should be ashamed of being a part of India. I think you should more be proud of India. You should be proud of yourself. I don't know either, Sam. I don't know either. Uh, YouTube is a big place. Maybe they're trying us out with a new audience. I could imagine them being like, yeah, let's see if the thirsty people like Melt, and then the thirsty people start losing their minds, and YouTube is like, what? I'll send more thirsty people. And I'm like, please, YouTube, we keep banning these people, please, please. They might become long-time watchers, but they won't be allowed to engage. Okay, so back to the point I was trying to make, Moon Knight. You should become proud of India. So proud of India and of yourself and of your fellow people, and then rally that pride in your fellow citizens to the point, of actually trying to make a difference. I know it's not easy, right? And these systems are so far beyond our control at this point as well, at large. But you have billions of citizens in India, bro. Billions. And I've seen I've seen how capable Indians are of coming together to do something, right? Like the amount of festivals you homies do, like you know how to come together for something meaningful. You know how to do that. You already got the formula. You just gotta apply it for your own well-being, right? Because there is maybe, and this is my own bias slash ignorant take on the situation. Some of these things can be distractions. People are so distracted doing other things, they might not think to change anything about the system as it is. I would be proud if I was born in India like 100 years ago, but right now I say, fuck India. Yeah. I feel you on that as well. I live in South Africa, bro. Things are rough here. Things are so rough here. You know, and it is hard, as you said, to be proud of my country. To feel like there is hope for my fellow citizens. But I am not letting it discourage me. I'm making plans. I will become a multi-millionaire, and then I will spend my multi-millions on robots. And then I will return, and I will create. I have this, and I'll keep sharing it until it manifests into reality. I have this dream of wherever I go, I come with an army of robots. And then wherever it is I find myself, the robots don't have to be in my vicinity. So they literally, I have like a certain time set. I'm like, I'm going to be here for 20 minutes. Then those robots go out in a 20-minute circle and they just fix stuff. They trim hedges, they pick up dirt from the floor, cigarette butts or whatever, they scrape gum off benches, kind of like vibes like that. And then by the time I'm leaving, army of robots get in the truck behind me, and then I go to the next place. And just like literally, I want everywhere I go to be better for it. I want people to be stoked, like absolutely ecstatic. If they hear I'm coming, they should like start cleaning things before I can even be there. It's like I want the robots to venture out further, clean other people's stuff. My stuff's gonna be clean already. Democracy is a joke. Something, something for the people, by the people, but the people are. India has the worst education system. I am fucked up by studying things that are okay. No work. Still get no work. I feel you, friend. I'm so sorry. Moon Knight, all I can say is don't give up, friend. I do believe things are going to get better, right? There's going to be large swaths of change and things will get better. Any representative system that exists without a capitalist society will inevitably become corrupt. It is the way of things. Representative system that exists within a capitalist society. Yeah, it's a money game. I don't think any system though, Sam. All right. There are platforms now being built, like Cardano. All right. And they have essentially something called on-chain governance, which does have those kind of like, as you said, centralized bodies that serve a certain public function, but all of the money can be traced. That's the part that's different, right? Like you cannot bribe people to do things, and if you do, it'll be clear, right? Everybody will know collectively. Oh, this person's getting bribed. Okay, why? Why are they getting bribed? Oh, two. If it exists, humans will abuse it. Almost quoted also. Wolf Mojo. Bless Wolf. It's nice having you. Look at yeah. It was me doing the Osho quote. I didn't want to do the full one because it's a little bit rough, and you know people have their own perspectives on Osho too. But yeah, it's funny. It's not far off. Look at India with democracy and China with a dictatorship. China is way more developed. India is like 30 years behind. Yeah, I don't know, but I get you. I was in China. I lived in China for a year and a half. It's really nice for the most part, but uh, all of that development comes at a cost, right? I know that you're studying long hours right now, but I don't know if everybody in your society has to work extreme hours as well. People were working hard in China, like just the kids as well. The kids were working hard. The kids, literally, let's just think about this, right? And I'm exaggerating a little bit, but to what I consider work to me is something tedious, right? Like if I have to do something and I'm like, oh, then I'm working, right? Then I do very little work. I do very little work. So in that way, literal 6-year-old Chinese children today are working more than I am, much more, so much more work than I do, right? And like seeing that up close, you're like, oh wow, this is why things are as developed as they are, because the 6-year-olds are out working normal adults. Literally. I'm not even joking, right? Like, sure, they're maybe doing trivial stuff, but it teaches them that they're capable of extreme hours. I would literally teach some children up until 8 p.m. at night, right? 6, 7, 8 year olds at 8 p.m. at night, because that's the only time they had a slot open in their day. The rest of it was filled with sport or violin practice, piano practice, you name it. It's crazy. It was crazy witnessing that stuff. And again, I was maybe in a little microcosm because I was teaching English at like a little mini private school or whatever. Maybe I was only exposed to the kids who had affluent parents, and affluent parents forced their kids to do things that only affluent parents could afford. So maybe it's on my own bias as well, a little bit coming through. I swear, if I had money and was 18 plus, I would come to you and we would both go on an expedition to random countries. And after some time, I would get settled somewhere in the Amazon forest and you could go on. That's nice, Moon Knight. That sounds very nice. Travel is expensive, bro. Very expensive. I also wish I had the money to do that. Like traveling, seeing 12 places a year will cost you more than $12,000. I mean, and when I say places, I'm thinking about like 12 different, I want to put in quotation marks, exotic places, right? Like going to Switzerland to go and see the mountains, going to India for the Himalayas, going to Japan for the blossoms, going to Australia for warm ocean swimming, going to New Zealand, right? Like it's gonna cost you more than $12,000. More, way more. Like literally, if you can stay for free, right, and subsist of air, it's gonna cost you $12,000 a year to do that. So that's a not impossible task, but it's a little bit out of reach for even us here in South Africa as well, right? Like that's a very high salary. That's about 240,000 rand, which is 20 grand, 20 grand a month, which is about the amount an engineer, junior engineer makes, right? About the amount a teacher makes. Yeah. Yeah. Can be done. I look forward to the future, friends. I didn't get to read yesterday's poem in its completion. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'll read you not yesterday's poem, the day before yesterday's poem that I was reading yesterday. So I'll read you both. Man, I get out of this rig system. Goodbye, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Keep breathing, Moon Knight. Keep breathing, bro. Keep showing up. You're still very young, right? That's very lucky. If I could, think about that, Moon Knight. If I could keep all my memories, keep all of my expertise, keep all of my understanding, and go back to be as you are, younger than 18, and I would lose all of the wealth, all of the stuff I had accumulated in the last 10 years. I would do that. I would be like, yeah, give me my 17-year-old body back, but with everything I know. I will, by the time I'm here again, I will become so powerful. So you can too. Keep learning. Don't give up. Worth worth your time. I'm happy to be worth your time. We don't spend money first. We spend minutes. Every choice in a checkout line, every choice is a checkout line. We pay with breath, with focus, with days that never come back in the same clothes. Time is the rarest currency. No refunds, no coupons, only meaning as change. Some things ask for hours and hand us nothing. Some ask for a moment and give us a lifetime. So let the future judge value by this simple test. Did it make your minutes larger? Did wonder compound? Did you walk away richer in attention, taller in heart? I want to build yeses like that. Experiences that earn the ticket, that turn waiting rooms into pilgrimages, that pay interest in joy. Not louder, truer, not longer, deeper. Work that makes a calendar feel like a garden you plant 1 hour and harvest a season. If you give me your minutes, I will treat them like glass, held carefully, cut to catch light, returned to you brighter than I found them. Because time is the only wealth we cannot hoard, only share, only shape, only spend well. May what we make be worthy of the one thing we can never make more of. May your watch feel lighter, your day feel wider, and your life after this feel gloriously well spent. I'm happy that I got to read that poem from yesterday. Now today's from yesterday, actually. Turn it up! Yesterday was about being hyped. We were so hyped yesterday. And I can feel myself being on the other side of the hype where I'm like, yeah, yeah, hype, but also, hmm, yes, hmm, yes. Hmm. All right, turn it up. Stoked. Stoked is a body word. It sells saying yes in chorus. A switch flipped, a quiet switch flipped bright. We're built with dials, breath as a volume knob, posture as an antenna, attention as a spotlight. We can point towards the good. Think it, and chemistry listens. Picture it, and muscles lean in. Say it out loud, and the room believes you. Studies keep winking. Your grin does too. Upregulate gently. Inhale like you're untying a knot. Exhale like you mean it. Lift your chest a centimeter. Watch the mind follow. Name one thing you love, then another. Feel how the light steps closer. It's not faking, it's steering. Not denial, direction. You aren't lying to your nerves. You're giving them a map. Even on low battery mornings, there's a spark to borrow. A song, a sunrise, a friend's voice, your own hand on your heart. Coals wake when you breathe on them. So breathe. Hey, just joined. Hey, Red Ranger, welcome. So breathe, Red Ranger. Let hope be kinetic. Let all be aerobic. Let gratitude be your fastest messenger, running good news down every corridor. And if you forget, we'll remind you. Bodies sync like metronomes, your lifted faces lift mine. My steady breath steadies yours. We grow better in company. So here's the practice. Turn towards what helps. Speak what heals. Move like the future is listening because it is. You are allowed to turn yourself up. You are allowed to feel this good. Right now, this moment brighter. Right now, this life more open. Stoked is proof of possible. Turn it up and pass it on. Thank you, Red Ranger, for joining us. Friends, Sam and Moon Knight, bless you. It's always a pleasure sharing the space with you two, Mojo and Prairie Wolf. If I'm missing anybody, love to you. Kat was here too. I don't think she's here anymore. We have found ourselves at the end of today's live stream. Huzzah. Congratulations ourselves. Big applause. We did it. We did it. We showed up. Against all odds, another day was loved. There's a part of me that wanted to say conquered. And then I was like, you know what? No, I don't conquer this day. This day remains unconquered. Unconquerable, even. I was just very lucky to be along for the ride. I appreciate you for being here with me for it as well. I love you, friends, and I'll say goodbye. See you again tomorrow. All right. Love you. Thank you, friends. Goodbye.